Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Tom Brady makes bold prediction about Ravens RB Derrick Henry. Signing a 30-year-old running back with plenty of wear and tear from years of mixing it in the NFL looked like a risk for the Baltimore Ravens, but they needn't be worried about Derrick Henry slowing down, according to Tom Brady. Speaking to Fox Sports NFL after watching Henry rush for 162 yards against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 16, seven-time Super Bowl winner Brady said, "This dude doesn't look like he's even slowing down. We show all those stats about how electric Derrick Henry is, he looks like he's got another 5 years in him. We show all those stats about how electric Derrick Henry is, he looks like he's got another 5 years in him," starstruck. Tom Brady was super impressed with that King Henry_2's 162-yard rushing performance today. The Ravens would gladly sign on now for another 5 years of Henry. Such has been the dominance of the two-time league rushing champion. Henry's performances have taken an offense led by two-time NFL MVP quarterback Lamar Jackson up another level. Their prolific combination put the Steelers to the sword during a 34-17 win on Saturday, December 21st. The victory at M&T Bank Stadium gave the Ravens a chance to seize control of the AFC North from their bitter rivals. It also showed this year's team could be unstoppable once the playoffs begin. From his role as an announcer for Fox Sports, Brady quickly observed why Henry was proving such a problem for a usually resolute Steelers defense. Specifically, Brady highlighted what Henry's presence was doing to the edges of Pittsburgh's front seven, per ESPN's Mina Kimes. "This drive has been a great example of how playing next to Lamar Jackson has been awesome for Derrick Henry," as Brady is pointing out. "Watch the edges." As Kimes noted, Jackson was just as big of a factor. His threat to run had the Steelers rushing wide off the edges. That let Henry attack inside running lanes on read option handoffs. Jackson simply had to wait for the defensive end or outside linebacker to stay wide or crash inside. If the edge defender slanted inside, Jackson could keep the ball and either throw or break contain and run to the outside of the pocket. Yet if the edge player stayed on the outside to cut off Jackson's escape lane, Baltimore's QB1 simply handed to Henry, who charged through the interior. The effect was awesome for the Ravens, but devastating for the Steelers. Henry produced the most explosive runs, 7, by a player in a game this season, per Next Gen Stats. He also ran between the tackles on a season-high 62.5% of his carries, where he had 5 of his 7 explosive runs. Derrick Henry gained 162 rush yards on 24 carries, including the most explosive runs, 7, by a player in a game this season. Henry ran between the tackles on a season-high 62.5% of his carries, where he had 5 of his 7 explosive runs. Henry had the Steelers in a bind from which they never broke free. Few teams have been able to escape the trap Jackson and Henry have led them into this season. Jackson might believe he should have played better, but the truth is he was close to flawless against the Steelers. Throwing 3 touchdown passes to Isaiah Likely, Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews showed Jackson was efficient when it counted. Having Jackson be the closer who applied the finishing touches to drives powered by Henry showed the Ravens' 1-2 punch is functioning perfectly. It's a partnership that appears unbreakable because Jackson has stayed healthy this season, while Henry is defying father time and the narrative of running backs slowing down in their 30s. Instead, Henry is going from strength to strength and playing his best football in the biggest games. He's routinely dominated AFC contenders, improving the Ravens' chances of going one better than last season and assuming supremacy of the conference. Mike Tomlin addresses Steelers' rumored interest in Pro Bowl wide receiver. The Pittsburgh Steelers have serious questions at wide receiver. And after the Baltimore Ravens cut an old friend, Deontay Johnson, the rumors swirled. He will find out if he was claimed on waivers on Monday at 4 p.m., but could the Steelers be a team that puts in the claim? Head coach Mike Tomlin was asked about that on Sunday, and he said that he would not comment on any player who is not currently on the football team. "I have nothing to add about somebody that's not in our football team right now," Tomlin said. Johnson refused to go in the Ravens game against the Philadelphia Eagles after Rashad Bateman suffered an injury. He was seemingly upset that the Ravens would not give him a large allotment of snaps during a contract year. Since the Carolina Panthers traded him, Johnson has been frustrated with his usage on the team. Now, Johnson's frustrations boiled over, and it seems there is a negative stigma around him in the NFL. Johnson was traded by the Steelers to the Panthers in March for Dante Jackson. Jackson has 5 picks for the Steelers, while Johnson was traded from Carolina after less than half the season. Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin shared how he believes quarterback Russell Wilson will bounce back after a tough outing against the Baltimore Ravens. Head coach Mike Tomlin told the media the Pittsburgh Steelers had defenders trying to do too much during the team's Week 16 loss to the Baltimore Ravens. The same may have been the case for Steelers quarterback Russell Wilson. Against the Ravens on December 21, Wilson scrambled around and forced throws more often than he had previously this season. Some of that worked. Wilson rushed for a season-high 27 yards and completed a couple impressive third-down throws. But he also committed 2 turnovers for the first time in 9 starts with the Steelers. The day after the game, though, Tomlin expressed confidence that Wilson will bounce back quickly. "I expect him to respond. He's been doing this a long time," Tomlin said. "He's tough on himself because he's got a desire to be great. He wants to lead us to victory. He owns that, but I don't expect it to be an issue in terms of his trajectory of his approach or readiness this week." Wilson scrambled for a 19-yard gain early in the second quarter. The run had the Steelers inside the Ravens' 5-yard line, but Wilson fumbled at the end of the play. Then during the fourth quarter, Wilson threw a pick six, with the Steelers already trailing by 7 points. Pittsburgh Steelers star cornerback goes down with knee injury. The Pittsburgh Steelers secondary may have been dealt another blow. Top cornerback Joey Porter Jr. left the game with what the team initially thought was a calf injury, but post-game, they have classified it as a knee injury. A team spokesperson said the knee injury was causing Porter pain in his knee. The injury happened on a run by Baltimore Ravens running back Derrick Henry. Porter takes Henry down, but Porter's knee is driven into the ground. He came up hobbling and exited the game. After halftime, Porter tried to go and return because it was such an important game, but he was pulled after the drive. He could not return, and the team took him to the locker room. Sources tell Penn Live that the Steelers fear Porter suffered a PCL injury, and running back Jaylen Warren had a PCL injury earlier this season that he suffered against the Los Angeles Chargers. He missed 2 games with the injury, and the Steelers are fearful that Porter has suffered a similar injury. Ben Skowronek was the other player who suffered an injury. He hurt his hip and had spotty availability the rest of the way, but did return. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Joey Porter Jr.? Leave your opinion in the comments.